So for this pattern you will need cotton yarn. I'm using Paint Box 1 and it's in double knit. I think it's 50 grams and I'll be using around 150 grams, so 3 balls of this. You will need 4.5mm hook, needle and scissors. We will be working in 2 panels, a handle and a main base. So I'll start off with the main base by making slip knot, inserting my hook and chaining 36. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on until you have 36. I chained 36, meaning that I will skip the first one and go into the second one, so this will leave me with 35 stitches. But if you want your back to be longer, you can chain more, or if you want it to be shorter, you can chain less. But now we will start our first row with half double crochets. Into the second stitch from our hook, yarn over, go into that stitch, grab your yarn and come back, 3 loops on your hook, pull through all, and repeat this for 35 stitches, or basically when you reach your end of your foundation chain. I will do this off camera and I'll meet you at the end. So I'm now at the end of my chain. I did my last half double crochet. I'm gonna chain 1 and turn my work. And you would normally be working into those V's, but for this pattern you will need to work into what's called a third loop. So if this is our normal loop, a V, we will be working into this one below, into that one. So the pattern will be continuously made of half double crochets, so you will yarn over, go into that third loop. The first one might be a bit tricky, but it gets easier. So from now on, for all rounds, do half double crochets, total 35 if you chained 36 till the end of your row, and I'll meet you at the end. So I'm now at the end of my round 2 and it's no different than others. My last stitch will be exactly the same into that third loop. So I'm now at the end of my round 2. This is my last stitch. As you can see, there's the V and this is a third loop. So yarn over, go into that stitch, pull through 3, chain 1, and you will continue doing those third loop half double crochets, and you can see that this gives this kind of chain effect in here. So continue doing it for 52 rows in total. So you have 2 now, and you will repeat this another 50 times. And this is how it will look after you did 52 rows. Basically it brings up this chain or loops, and it's on both sides, wrong and right side. So set this aside for some time while we do handles, and we will come back for it later. So when you're done with your main panel and when you have your 100 rows for handle, you will need to count 16 rows from where you have your initial chain. So I've counted 16 and I've put 2 stitch markers to mark it, and then count another 6 rows, put stitch markers on both sides, and one more time 16 rows and mark it here. So it's gonna be basically folded like a envelope, and we will have our handles joined here. So basically we will need to take our handle, this part will be joined where these 2 stitches are, and then we will join sides with here with the same amount of rows. So we have 16 here, 16 here, and we will join with 16 on both of the sides. So I now lined up my handle with the side of the bag with those first 16 stitches, 16 rows, and I'm gonna insert my same color yarn here. And if you don't want to crochet it together, you can sew it using needle, but I will be joining it with single crochet stitch on the right side. So this is my right side and this is my right side, because I want that seam to be visible. So I have it here. I'm gonna chain one to secure my yarn, and I'm gonna single crochet through both of them from now on. It might be a bit more difficult because these are not the stitches, they're both sides of our work, but just kind of put your hook in where you feel is right. There is no rules. I'm kind of going into spaces here, as you can see, and I'm gonna continue joining until I reach the end of it, and then I'm gonna be turning it to join the short side. So I reached the end of the side. I'm gonna take my stitch marker out, and now I'm gonna turn this way so I can join it up till this stitch. And it's exactly the same, just go in like you did before till you reach stitch marker. I can now take this stitch marker out and join in the last stitch. And this is how it looks so far. So I like what effect this joining method gives. If you don't like this, you might want to join in wrong sides then, so it's less and it's seamless, but this one gives that kind of edge, which I like for this bag. So I'm gonna continue joining last side up till here with this, and I'll meet you then. So now at the end where the stitch marker is, I'm gonna chain one and cut my yarn off, leaving a bit so I can hide this later on. I will pull through and secure. We can now take this stitch marker out. And what you will need to do is to grab your ending and then join exactly the same way you did for this side. Just make sure that it's the right way and it's not twisted, and then this part will be our bag closing. So I now joined both sides. This is how it looks. Just because we went into the sides of the rows, there's some gaps. You can hide them with some yarn and needle. But yeah, this is how it looks. There's the opening, the bag itself. I've hidden all the tails. You can sew in lining so it will keep the shape a bit better than it is now. And you can even use some clips to close it, for any other extra accessories.
So yeah, that's the tutorial. I've added in book inside just to show you how it looks. You can also make this handle longer or shorter if you would like, but I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next tutorials. Bye.